There's this math skill you use pretty much every single day, and you probably don't even think about it. Today, we're going to change that. We are going to master adding and subtracting decimals. Think of it like turning a daily chore into a simple superpower. All right, let's dive in.
Okay, think about this for a second. Shopping, baking, budgeting, what do all of these things have in common? I mean, really think about your last trip to the grocery store, or that new recipe you tried out, or even just glancing at your bank account online. There's one little piece of math that ties them all together.
Yep, you guessed it. The answer is decimal numbers. They are literally everywhere. And trust me, knowing how to handle them isn't just for a math class. It's a crucial life skill.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover why decimals even matter. Then, we'll get into the secret of place value and the one golden rule you have to follow. After that, we'll walk through the step-by-step method. I'll show you the common disasters to avoid, and then we'll talk about your new everyday math superpower. All right, first things first, let's get into why this is so darn important. Seriously, this isn't about passing some test. This is about navigating your actual life, from your wallet all the way to your kitchen.
I mean, think about it. Every time you see a price tag that says something like $12.99, that's a decimal. When a recipe calls for 2.5 cups of flour, that's a decimal. You hear that the average body temp is 98.6 degrees? Yep, that's a decimal too. They give us the precision we need for, well, pretty much everything.
Okay, so to really get a handle on decimals, we have to pop the hood and look at what makes them tick, and that's something called place value. Honestly, this one concept is the key that unlocks everything else we're going to talk about.
So, what even is a decimal number? Well, to put it simply, it's just a way to write a number that isn't a whole number. It's for all those values that fall between the integers, like between 2 and 3. They're what allow us to get super precise.
Let's actually break down what's happening to the right of that little dot. The very first spot, that's the tenths place. The second is for hundredths. The third is thousandths. You see the pattern. And the most important thing to get is that each spot is 10 times smaller than one just to its left.
The absolute best way to wrap your head around this is to think about money. It just clicks. If you have 50 cents, that 5 is in the tenths place. It's like having 5 dimes. And if you have, say, 47 cents, that 7 is in the hundredths place, which is like 7 pennies. See? It takes this abstract idea and makes it totally concrete.
Okay, so you get what decimals are. Now for the real secret sauce. The one thing that lets you add and subtract them correctly every single time. It's one simple, non-negotiable rule that just makes it all work.
And here it is. This is the golden rule, the one thing you have to remember. Align the decimal points. That's it. You have to line them up vertically, one right on top of the other. If you can just do this one thing, I promise you'll avoid nearly every mistake people make.
And this right here shows you why that rule is so critical. Look at the wrong way on the left. You're trying to add tenths to hundredths. It's like trying to add apples and oranges. It's a total mess. But now look at the correct version. See how we lined up the dots? We even added a little 0 as a placeholder. Now everything's in its proper column. Tenths with tenths, hundredths with hundredths. Perfect.
All right, now that we've got the golden rule burned into our brains, let's walk through the actual step-by-step method. Just follow these steps and you'll be doing this with total confidence. Okay, for adding, it's super straightforward. Step 1, line up those decimal points. Remember to add zeros if you need to fill any gaps. Step 2, just add everything up from right to left, exactly like you do with whole numbers. And step 3, this is the easy part. Just drop that decimal point straight down into your answer. Boom. Then, just give it a quick glance to make sure it looks reasonable.
And you want to hear the best part? Subtraction is pretty much the exact same thing. Seriously. You still line up the points, you still add zeros as placeholders, you work from right to left, and you drop the decimal down. The only tiny differences are, 1, you got to make sure the bigger number's on top, and 2, you might have to borrow sometimes, just like you've always done with subtraction.
Okay, let's try one out right now. We'll do a subtraction problem where we actually have to borrow. Let's solve 5.2 minus 3.47.
All right, first things first, we follow the golden rule. Line up those decimal points. Now, you probably noticed there's an empty space right above the 7. Easy fix. We just stick a 0 in there as a placeholder. So now our problem is 5.20 minus 3.47. Perfect. Now we're ready to go.
Okay, time to subtract, starting from the right. Well, right away we have a problem. You can't take 7 from 0. So what do? We borrow from the next column over.
This is sometimes called regrouping. We might even have to do it again, borrowing from the whole number 5 to get all our columns sorted out. Once all that borrowing is done, we can finally subtract. And we have our answer. After all that regrouping, we get 10 minus 7 is 3. 11 minus 4 is 7. Then we drop that decimal point straight down. And finally, 4 minus 3 is 1. So our final answer is 1.73.
All right, so you know the right way to do it, but it's just as important to know what not to do. Let's talk about a few common decimal disasters so you can spot them a mile away and avoid them.
Okay, the number one most common disaster is forgetting the decimal point in the answer. I mean, look at this. 2.5 plus 3.2 is definitely not 57. That's just crazy. It's 5.7. That tiny little dot makes a huge difference. So please always remember to drop that point straight down. And here are a few other traps to watch out for. Forgetting to align the points in the first place, that's like the original sin of decimal math. Then there's ignoring place value. Thinking that 3/10 is the same as 3/100. It's not. And finally, skipping those 0 placeholders. That's just asking for trouble and messy, misaligned columns. So, there you have it. We've gone over the rules, the method, and the big mistakes to avoid. Now let's tie it all together and talk about how this really is a practical superpower you can start using, well, today.
Think about it. From splitting the check with friends to figuring out your car's gas mileage or even just tweaking a recipe in the kitchen. You've got this. You are totally equipped to handle all of it with confidence now. So I guess the only question left is, what everyday problem are you going to solve with decimals next?